that thrilling serial, Captain Marvel and the Monster Society of Evil. Mr. Mind has thrown plot after plot against Captain Marvel, villain after villain, but Captain Marvel has smashed them all, and finally went after Mr. Mind himself in his space laboratory. Here, Captain Marvel tore it down every stick and stone, but found nothing. What is the answer to the riddle? What is the mystery of Mr. Mind? Captain Marvel now races back to Earth for a face-to-face meeting with his enemy. The world's mightiest mortal and the universe's most evil brain are about to meet. Chapter 6: Mr. Mind on Earth. In the history of the world, there has been no more macabre mentality than Mr. Mind, master of the Monster Society of Evil. But who or what is Mr. Mind? Nobody knows, though Captain Marvel has chased him all over the Earth, and has even attacked his laboratory in space. Mr. Mind has not once been seen by human eyes. And now, as the merciless unknown being strikes in person, Captain Marvel finally confronts him face to face. And even the world's mightiest mortal is thunderstruck when he finally glimpses the mysterious Mr. Mind. Not in 1,000 years would anyone have guessed what Mr. Mind was. After completely wrecking Mr. Mind's laboratory in space and failing to find his archenemy, Captain Marvel returns to Earth baffled. Mr. Mind threatened to show up on Earth next. I'd better get back. Grave questions puzzle the keen mind of the world's mightiest mortal. But how did he give me the slip? Only a worm could have escaped that destruction. Who or what is Mr. Mind? How am I ever going to track him down? Good old Station Whiz. I've been gone so long chasing Mr. Mind all over Earth and then into space that Mr. Morris will be worried about Billy. Shazam! The mystic word. Magic lightning. And Billy Batson, boy newscaster, seeks out Mr. Morris, station owner. Billy, welcome back. The public has missed you, but now you've come back with the greatest story of all time, the capture of Mr. Mind by Captain Marvel. The trouble is, Mr. Morris, Captain Marvel failed. Downcast Billy is led to the roof. But don't feel too broken up, Billy. You need something to occupy your mind. Look, Steamboat is making a rock garden. Hi, Billy. Billy works, but with a heavy heart. That poor boy is worrying all the time about that nasty Mr. Mind. Where is Mr. Mind now? How did he get to Earth? What will he try first? Meanwhile, the spaceship of Mr. Mind has made a landing on Earth somewhere. But where? Ha! I cleverly escaped the mighty hand of Captain Marvel in space. Now I'm on Earth, and I'll show that big red gorilla up in short order. But first, to build a scientific laboratory from which to operate, my mechanical architect will build me a stone castle. With miraculous scientific tools, the Master of Evil raises a towering castle in short hours. Done! Now to begin my lab work. Earth is going to hear from me soon. Howie! Mad laughter resounds from the castle later as a strange ray streaks from the window. My cosmic brain ray, they won't know how it works. They won't know that this ray makes even lowly worms and termites do my bidding. Ha-hee-ho! Under a city building, vast unseen hordes of worms and termites obey the commanding ray. All night long, the creatures work, and by the next day. Meanwhile, Billy Batson is giving his usual news broadcasts. So far, Captain Marvel has failed to capture evil Mr. Mind, folks. But he's going to keep strict watch for him on Earth. There's been no sign. Wait, folks, the Tanner Tower is swaying. It's about to crash. Signing off till later. Shazam! If that skyscraper falls, thousands of people trapped within will be utterly crushed. Help! Only one thing to do. Hold it up. Oof. Only the mightiest man on Earth could prevent a huge building from toppling over. There, I can hold it in position now while engineers examine the foundations and booster it up. Untiringly, Captain Marvel holds the rocking tower in place till a shout comes from below. Okay, Captain Marvel, we've braced the building. It'll stand alone now. Still needs a little. I'm going down below and see what caused this near tragedy. Here's the answer, Captain Marvel. Termites! Look how they've riddled this beam. Let me examine that beam more closely, will you? Oh, holy moly! Those termite burrowings spell out words. There's a message here. Only the beginning, Mr. Mind! Mr. Mind was here? Quick, what did he look like? No one's been here but us, and the termites, Captain Marvel. And once more, the insidious, baffling mystery of Mr. Mind spins Captain Marvel's brain in dizzy circles. No one saw him, yet he left that note eaten into the wood. What in heaven's name is his form? But I'll track him down sometime, and just wait till I get my hands on that worm. Mr. Mind has come and gone as usual, in his spaceship. Ho-ho-ho-ho-ho-ho! What a merry chase I'm leading that big red baboon! He'll never guess my secrets, my true form. No one on Earth will guess. It's so clever and yet so utterly simple. Ha 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 ha! Billy Batson returns to work on his rock garden, hoping to clear his baffled mind. We need more rocks, Steamboat. Go see if you can find some, will you? Right away, Billy. Here's lots of rocks in this empty lot. Steamboat makes a queer find. Look what I found. A small castle. Must be some kid's toy that he got rid of. Huh? I'll surprise Billy. I'll put the castle in the garden and he'll stumble upon it later. Back already, Steamboat? Did you bring the rocks? Right here, Billy. Now let's get to work and finish up the rock garden today. But again, Billy suddenly goes off into a worried trance. Holy moly! I just can't keep my mind off of Mr. Mind. Where is he? If I could just lay my hands on him in his hideout, but no use wishing. Mr. Mind is probably 1,000 miles from here, in some remote, wild place. Yes, dear viewer, we wish we could tell Billy too, that right behind him is his terrible enemy. For now we know that Mr. Mind's castle is of miniature size. Suddenly, holy moly, Mr. Mind has struck again. Now the city wall is starting to topple. Shazam! Ha ha ha! Let the Red Fool go to rescue him. Little does he know he can stop my whole plot just by turning around. Ha ha ha! Once again, Captain Marvel saves a building from crashing into ruins with hundreds of doomed people inside. You're safe, Mr. Mayor. Captain Marvel, you shoved the building back into place. Now Mr. Mind is after you, Your Honor. If only I could get my hands on that rat. Mr. Mind's electrical voice suddenly bursts out of nowhere. You've called me a worm, a rat, Captain Marvel, but you don't really know what I am, do you? Now listen, fools. I, Mr. Mind, am taking over the city. If you refuse, I'll topple over every building in it. Where are you, Mr. Mind? Why can't we see you? You will never see me, fools. But I can't let you meet 3 of my minions. These are members of my monster society of evil, picked up in my scouring of the universe. Holy smoke! Clear out, you chumps. Mr. Mind is coming to take over. Better do as they say, Mr. Mayor. That Tommy gun's no toy. But... Come in, Mr. Mind. All clear. Mr. Mind, you're in that tiny ship. So that's the answer. You're a tiny being of some sort. That explains how you escaped me in space, simply through being small. So what? Now you know, fool. Are you going to leave quietly? Leave nothing. Now that I know your secret, I'm going to nab you. Out of my way, thugs. Ooh. Get him! Stop him! But when Captain Marvel's great hand darts for the tiny spaceship of Mr. Mind, what? It's like trying to catch a slippery cake of soap. Ha ha ha! What is your size and power against my quickness and smallness? The tiny craft loses itself among a swarm of bugs flying by. Ho 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 ho! I go Captain Marvel, but for opposing me, I'll now wreck the city completely. Later, holy moly, Mr. Mind is just a tiny mite, but I wonder what he looks like. A little man, a miniature monster, or what? Billy, would you like a piece of my chocolate cake? I've got 2 pieces. Billy, it's time for your noon broadcast. Folks, please be calm. I don't know where Mr. Mind will strike next, but holy moly! Station Wiz is starting to sway. Suddenly 2 more of Mr. Mind's minions appear.
We got the brat. Just cool. Mr. Mind says to take him down in the basement.
Down below, under the tottering building, Billy is left to a dreadful fate.
This building will crash in a few minutes, and you'll be buried under the whole mess. That's what Mr. Mind figured out for your brat.
Holy moly, ants, attracted by that chocolate cake I was eating, they'll eat me alive, unless... Hooray, they ate my gag first. Shazam! Captain Marvel hastily bolsters the building's foundations, saving it. That does it. One little post in the right spot can hold up a tremendous weight. Steamboat, you don't have to run now. The building may be leaning a bit, but it won't fall. Lousy me. I was all ready to run. I was savaging this castle. It's too good to leave. Steamboat, that miniature castle. Where did you get it? Tell me quickly. Why, I found it in the thinking lot. A stunning revelation comes to Captain Marvel. It's the exact replica of Mr. Mind's laboratory in space. This is Mr. Mind's hideout. He was under my nose all the time.
Huh?
But when the castle is ripped open... What? Nothing inside at all? Don't tell me Mr. Mind is an invisible being. What is Mr. Mind? Where is he? He can't have gotten far away. An apple left from my lunch. I'd better eat it. A worm in my apple? But what kind of worm is this? It's wearing spectacles.
Horrors! He nearly bit me in 2. I thought I'd be safe crawling into the apple, but now I have to slip away somewhere.
But now, Mr. Mind is completely exposed as a worm! So you're a worm, you worm. You deserve nothing better than this.
Oh no! I'm sunk! In another second, Captain Marvel's foot will crush me to pulp. But wait, Mr. Mind doesn't give up this easy. There is still a chance!
For once, the tables are reversed. It is Mr. Mind who is in mortal danger, but can he escape his well-deserved end? Can his great and evil mentality, regardless of his humble worm shape, save him? See Chapter 7 in next episode's Captain Marvel and the Monster Society of Evil.